Welcome to 7 Principles for Creating a Lifestyle of Everyday Joy. This presentation came about because I was feeling kind of weak and unsure about my ability to present this really important message that I feel would be a huge blessing to many individuals and families, and just not sure how I could do a better job. So I asked some friends, and they said that it might help to have some kind of bullet point or document that shares the big picture or where it leads. And so as I was working on that, the thought kept coming to me that I should do this presentation on the principles that make this lifestyle. And so you can take them as you listen and hopefully find ways that you can apply them to your life. And if you find that you want some more help in being able to apply these, then I hope you'll explore the website, sign up for a course. You'll see by the prices that I'm obviously not doing this for the money, that I really just want people who want to live this way to have the help they need to be able to apply these principles. So that's what it's for. At Warrior Education, what I teach, like I said, is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle of peace amidst the messes in life, of purpose when things seem kind of repetitive or mundane, of calm when things don't go according to our own expectations, or we're not meeting them, or we're not meeting the expectations of others, of being able to have healing in our hearts and in our minds and our body and relationships, even though there's constant attacks on all of those, and of joy, even in the unexpected and really hard. What makes this lifestyle work is that its foundation is built on a connection to God. I welcome those who are unsure about God because I think that everyone can gain from the principles taught here. I really want everyone to feel welcome if this is something that they are seeking. I have learned so much from people who believe or think differently than I do, so I hope that you'll find helpful things here too, even if our beliefs differ. So if you're unsure about God, I just encourage you to seek a connection to that conscience within you, that inner voice of peace and spirit of love that you feel. Substitute that spirit whenever I talk about connecting to God or to His Spirit. It's this connection to that love that lays the foundation for everything I will talk about today. I see myself as a fellow traveler with you on this journey. I'm far from perfect, but I'm learning as I go and trying to share what I learn. And as I share, I'm also trying to create a group of support for those interested who want to learn and share with each other the lessons they learn along the way. There are 7 principles of success and love that are built into this lifestyle of everyday peace and joy that I'm going to share with you. The first one is that we need to establish systems and routines in our life that are focused on becoming and not just on doing. This helps us have joy in our progress even when life throws us curveballs, when nothing seems to go according to plan, and it feels like our goals are constantly interrupted by circumstances, events, and distractions. With this mindset, nothing is an interruption. Instead, it becomes a catapult that puts us on a faster track to becoming who we hope to be, because it helps us practice those crucial character traits of trust, love, creativity, patience, and humility. We realize that as we build our character, our ability to reach our goals increases, not necessarily because we're working on those goals at this moment, but because as we strengthen ourselves, we grow closer to our goals. We can start to make these kinds of systems by choosing a character trait to develop as our goal. We could consider a problem or an obstacle we're trying to overcome. It could be something like a relationship that's hurting, a health issue, a messy house, a rebellious child, emotional pain, a mental barrier, or a fear. We all have things we're struggling with. In the programs I teach, we call this our mountain. We then identify what character trait we could develop that would help us overcome that problem. It could be forgiveness, discernment, discipline, focus, confidence, charity, gratitude, joyfulness, etc. We call this trait our mountain summit. It's what we're trying to reach. When we turn this desire into an I am statement with a reminder that this trait is inherent in us as sons and daughters of God, we call that our summit phrase. For example, I can discern when I need in my life because I inherited the ability to discern from my Heavenly Father. Or, as a son or daughter of heavenly parents, I am forgiving like they are. These types of things or statements are our summit phrase. We refer to this phrase when choosing goals and when we need motivation to follow through with those inspired goals. It becomes a powerful why for what we do. And I'll talk more about how to build systems from this why in a little bit. But the next principle is that all of us, no matter how old we are, is that education is a lifelong pursuit. It's why we're here on earth. To learn, to progress, and to grow. In the programs I teach, we use the metaphor of a journey. Going on a journey means we're headed somewhere that we want to be, but we're also having amazing experiences along the way, seeing new things, getting stronger, and taking in the lessons all around us. When we choose a summit, we aren't choosing some final destination. We are simply choosing the next mountain to scale so we can get a better view and a wider perspective about who we are and what our part is in the big picture. As we walk with God on our journey, we learn to see as He sees and love as He loves. And that is why the whole program is based on this foundation of a connection to Him, which is the third principle. Our job is to learn to connect to God so He can use us to do the work that He has for us to do, which also happens to be the work which will give us the most purpose, joy, and enthusiasm for life. The first thing we do in the program is we begin by practicing 4 connection rituals that keep us connected to Him and allow us to get the personal directives He has for us. A connection ritual is simply something you do intentionally each day to connect to God. We can have a personal devotional each morning for one of our connection rituals. We can pray, read, and write, and ask God for His, what I call personal marching orders for us that day. I encourage us in these to ask Him 2 questions at this time: what He'd have us study or learn that day, and whom He'd have us help. Seeking Him and doing what we feel guided to do is how we learn to keep His commandments, His personal commandments to us. From these connection rituals, we can start to build a system that allows us to establish the habits in our lives that make us into who we want to be. We work from the inside out, which is the 4th principle. We increase our influence by letting the Spirit work within us and then outward, magnifying our efforts as we try to help the suffering we see in the best way we know how. Creating beauty, sharing a message, making a meal, lifting a burden. We begin by setting our hearts right, then our mind, our body, our family relationships, and our home environment as our creative work continues to expand to the rest of the world. And how do we do this? By small and simple things. That's the 5th principle. We make little changes as we feel inspired in each area of our life. In the courses, I call the different areas fortifications, because as we strengthen the area, we are fortified to continue on our journey, and we get closer to our leader and our summit. We simply choose an area we feel we need to work on and change a habit in that area. That's what I mean with small and simple. We don't have to make some huge change in our lives. Instead, we work on changing a small habit that we do every day. And this small habit will yield huge results as we incorporate it into our life. Changing habits is hard though, so we enact heaven's help by making a small sacrifice in the area so that we can add something better, which is the 6th principle. There is great power in sacrifice. Our summit should be something we're willing to sacrifice just about anything for. It gives us a lot of power. As we look at each area of our lives, we can choose something that we're willing to sacrifice in that area to reach our summit. So to give you a picture of how this might work, in the program I refer to 7 fortification areas: our heart, our time, our mind, body, our relationships, our environment, and our creative work. We move through them together as we go along on our journey, stopping in each area to sacrifice an old habit and take on a new one. So if I'm at fortification 4, which is where I hone my weapon, or in other words, my body, which is the weapon of my spirit, I will be asked to make a health habit. Maybe I will choose to drink water every morning. I will give up the habit of eating a snack first thing in the morning, and I will replace it with drinking water first. I'm willing to do this because I know that my summit is worth any sacrifice. So when I remember that, then I'm willing to give up my morning snack when it's hard or difficult. So in the program, we attach each new habit to one of our connection rituals so we can build from that connection. This gives us power and keeps us centered on our why. For example, my morning connection ritual is a personal devotional. So I will now drink a glass of water during or after my morning devotional. This allows me to start building my day with intention. I am creating the life I want by being intentional about the habits I create in my day. It's those daily habits that will take me to where I need to be. I will stop being a victim to my circumstances or bad habits and instead choose my daily habits with intent. This works because we just don't know what circumstances may come up in our day. For example, this last week was really tricky for me. I had a daughter who jumped off the fireplace and missed the beanbag, and we thought maybe she had broken a bone on her foot. We ended up going to the Instacare and she was fine, but that took a couple hours, right? And then on Saturday, my son was playing flag football and he landed on his wrist, and we went to the Instacare again, and he ended up having 2 broken bones. And so now he's on a sling, and we get to go see a neurosurgeon next week to see if he needs to have anything done before he gets his cast on. And then we also got in a car accident. It's been a crazy week on Friday as we were going to our homeschool Commonwealth, and thankfully everybody was fine. We were all okay, and people came and helped us. But now I have no car, so I'm trying to figure out how to get places this week, and the van had to be towed away, so I've been on the phone with insurance a lot. And so of course, these things just kind of pop up in our lives, and we need to have plans for how we're going to get back on track when the unexpected happens. So in all of these unexpected circumstances, I didn't always make time to do the habits I've been trying to establish, but I had peace anyway because I knew that I would be able to get back to my system at any point. I just had to, get onto whatever connection ritual started that part of my day and start working from there. I didn't have to just put my life on hold and start all over from the beginning. And I could also come back to my system knowing that this wasn't an interruption or some kind of thing that made me regress, but that it actually propelled me forward because I had unexpected circumstances come to my life that helped me build those character traits that I'm trying to build, that summit goal that I have about who I'm trying to become. And so these unexpected circumstances, I try to practice living them with a heart full of love, and when annoyances do come, I try to remember to practice gratitude, and I'm building my character, so it's not an interruption, it's not something that is throwing me off, but it's something that's helping me reach my goal. That brings a lot of peace as we try to remember that these habits we're trying to build are not our destination. They're not our goal. They are just tools to help us reach who we want to be. And so as we continue to practice them when we are able, then we have a system that gets us to where we want to be. Which takes us to the last principle that makes this lifestyle work so well. And it's the principle of focused exercise. So the aim of all we do is a connection to God. That's the focus. And the systems and habits are put in place to help us get there and to practice this connection by grounding them on that purpose. Then we move through each area, thinking about what we can do in that area to better connect us to God. Once we decide what that is, we practice it. And since we have the tendency when we make a goal to hyper-focus on that one area or go to the neglect of others, for example, we focus so much on health that we neglect our environment, or we focus so much on our creative work that we neglect our family. It is helpful to rotate through the areas often so that we don't neglect any one of them for very long, and so that we can reground ourselves on our focus, a connection to God. The different areas in our life, like muscles, need time to be stressed and worked, and also time to rebuild. In the Warrior Education programs, we rotate through each area every 2 weeks. Each semester takes us through each fortification once. Then we can cycle through them again, choosing a new summit for the next semester. The beautiful thing is that when we work on one area of our life, we're strengthening our character, which in turn increases our ability in all of the areas. If we drop a habit somewhere along the journey and we come back to that area the next cycle around and try again, we will be surprised at how much easier it is to maintain that habit this time around because our abilities have grown. So those are the 7 principles of a lifestyle of joy and peace. I love something that one of the leaders in my church said recently. He said, "Giving our all doesn't mean we will be continually enveloped in blessings or always have success, but it does mean that we will have joy. Joy is not a fleeting pleasure or even temporary happiness. Joy is enduring and is founded on our efforts being accepted by the Lord. It is not our successes, but rather our sacrifice and effort that matter to the Lord. I love this quote because it reminds me that I won't always be successful with keeping all of my goals or getting every habit established that I make plans for, but that as I stay focused on staying connected to God and trying every day to form my life more into a lifestyle that keeps that connection, I will have joy in my efforts even when bad things happen, interruptions occur, and difficulties and challenges come my way. So if you're interested in journeying with others who are also trying to establish this lifestyle so that we can share with one another our successes and failures and the lessons learned with those, as well as our, inspirational quotes or scriptures or thoughts that we had as we were trying to live these principles in these areas, or share resources and help each other create and share our message, then I invite you to put on your hiking shoes, grab a walking stick, and come and join us. The first step is to go to the website, warrioreducation.com, and sign up for the free basic training class. After you watch that, you can sign up for the Warrior Strategy course while you wait for the next semester to start. Warrior Strategy is basically fortification number 1 in the semester classes. It's about the heart. It takes us through the 4 connection rituals that lay the foundation for the rest of the fortifications. It's wise to start it as soon as possible, as these 4 connection rituals are the habits that most of us have the hardest time establishing in our lives. You don't have to have them down perfectly before starting one of the semester courses, because the semester courses help you realize the need you have for the connection rituals and will help you continue to practice them. Warrior Strategy is not a prerequisite for the semester courses because we quickly review the rituals and practice them at the beginning of each semester. But it is helpful to have been practicing them before. There are 3 semester courses at this time: a Warrior Journey, a Warrior Journey for Youth, and a Warrior Family. It's recommended that parents take a Warrior Journey along with their youth who are taking the one for youth if they want to help their youth through the course. A Warrior Family is available to those who have finished the Warrior Journey course at least once. And this is because in Warrior Family, we establish family systems that help us teach our children these principles, but we can't teach them what we're not already practicing in our lives. So we need to have been on our own warrior journey before we invite our family to come along. So whether you sign up or not, I hope that you have found these principles to be helpful to you and to benefit your life in some way. They have given me peace among the messes in life and calm among the pressures of measuring up, and healing when there is attacks on my body and mind and heart and relationships, and joy and purpose in the unexpected and in the really hard. And this has come by giving my heart to a work I love because I trust Him whose work it is. And I hope you will too. Bye for now. I hope to meet up with you again soon.